2. I'm James. I'm in the Net News Ledger studio. We're here with newly elected councillor for Northwood, Shelby Ch'ng, who is here to tell us a little bit. First of all, Shelby, welcome to Net News Ledger.
Thank you.
And I guess you've had the official welcomes and all the fun at City Hall. What's it like now at City Hall as a councillor as opposed to a candidate seeking the job?
You know what, it is very different. There are things I thought before, how going into it, that it would be a certain way. It's just like anything though, like starting a new job, you have those new job jitters. Monday night council is a little different than I thought. I thought sitting around council in the circle would feel a little bit more conversational, but you're very limited on how many questions you can ask and when you can ask them, and it's just understanding the rules and learning and figuring things out.
It's a little bit like a show, maybe, like when it gets there.
There is a little bit of more showmanship, I think, that you have to be very thoughtful and precise in your questions. Asking too many, normally when I meet somebody, I just pepper them with questions and get my answers. The limitation of 3 questions, I think, is going to be a little bit of a learning curve for me.
I can see that, having talked to you several times before. Now, council set some priorities in the speech from Mayor Hobbs. And not a lot of people know, but that speech has input from the entire council, and then the mayor delivers it. He set revitalizing the South Core as a priority. What do you think we can do to make that really happen here in the South Core of Thunder Bay?
There are a number of things that I think can be done in the South Core. One, showing pride and ownership of one's buildings. We have a lot of empty space and broken windows, and it's really, they're owned by private industry. So it's difficult for a corporation like the city to come in and say, this is how you manage your business or manage your property, when it's really up to the owners to do. Now, we can provide incentives such as, grants to fix up the facade, which they did at Porto Divino was one of the places. Yes. But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of uptake on that kind of opportunity in the South Core. So what can we do? I personally would like to see this become more of a senior citizens hub. I'd love to see better use and mixed use housing, and a very unique, we have this opportunity with these buildings and this space to really create something and fill a need in our community, and that's my vision for what I see. Will it work? I don't know, but I'm certainly open to the thought experiment and talking about this.
Now, the other area, of course, that was discussed in the inaugural speech was social issues and tackling the social issues in the city. What do our readers need to know, and viewers?
There are a number of social issues that plague our city, and it's very unfortunate that racism is a huge component to our everyday lives. As a business owner, I think there are things that we can do. I know I'm sitting on the CEDC board, and there's one thing that I would really like to see move forward, and that's how do we do business with the First Nations people? As a business owner, I sell wedding dresses, and I get all kinds of brides coming in from Sioux Lookout, out of Koken, Northern Reserves, and they come and they want to shop. And it took about a year before I realized that there's a nuance to working with First Nations people and doing business with them. One thing I noticed was that the ice doesn't get broken until the matriarch makes a joke. So grandma has to say something funny. Yeah. And then everybody, you just feel the tension, just kind of, okay, grandma's okay. And that's something that I learned through my own experience in working with these brides. So what other things can we do as business owners? So part of my idea of being on the CEDC is to bring forward a package idea. How do we connect with our First Nations customers? How do we make them feel welcome? How do we make them feel valued? And I think from there, once we set that culture and that priority as a business owner, because it's good for business.
Yes.
These are people who are not going down to the States because they can use their status card in my shop. So why would they go down and pay duty and taxes and whatever else they pay when they could shop locally? So, and that's one thing I plan to bring forward, and I think it's a good business opportunity.
There's a huge amount of money that gets spent in Thunder Bay, and I don't think a lot of people in the city have any idea. Even in the recent recession, Thunder Bay didn't suffer as much as other communities across Canada did, and part of that was First Nation spending. NAN spends about $50 million as an organization a year in Thunder Bay. It's huge, and there's a real opportunity there for business.
Huge opportunity. This is the area that we have a long-standing history of doing business in this area with First Nations, and the South Court is the epicenter for doing business. It was the previous location of Old Fort William.
Yeah, when it was New Fort William.
Yeah.
Shelby, how do people
Did you just say a joke?
I tried. Million comedians out of work, and here I am, right? The campaign, you talked about being the connected councillor. How do people reach Shelby now that you're on council?
Yeah, for sure. I want to set up a bit of a system to how to contact me. So I'm on Twitter. I also have a Facebook page. So I've kept the Facebook page up after the campaign. I feel like there's a number of people who are following me and want to know information, and that's how they connect with me there, and by email. So those are the three ways that I'm always monitoring and always keeping on top of. If you send me a LinkedIn or another social media, I might not get to it right away, but those are the three that I check constantly.
All right, and we'll be talking, I'm sure, a lot over the next 4 years. Thank you for coming in and sharing a little bit of what it's like to be a new councillor in Thunder Bay.
Thank you very much.